Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is live and thank you for joining me one more time. Over the last 3 weeks, I discussed my poetry collection, The Other Side of Me. Firstly, I discussed the reason why I wrote it, the reason why I decided to publish it, and then also the amount of poems that the poetry collection contains or consists of. The purpose behind me writing this collection was initially for an emotional release for me. I've been suffering from depression for almost all my life, and I used the poetry collection to help me to come to terms with it, to get rid of that emotion, and to also accept this illness and teach myself coping mechanisms on how to deal with depression and how to focus on more positive aspects of my life and in therefore changing my mindset. So me sharing this journey with you is actually to help others as well and to let them see that by focusing on the positive things in your life, you can realize that there's always something to look forward to, regardless of the adversities that you may be facing. So I decided that for the next 5 weeks, I will discuss 5 different poems with you, and each one of those poems will cover a different emotion. So this week, I decided to share the poem with you that is called The Ghost Called Depression. If you have the poetry collection, you're welcome to follow the poem in the book, but you can also see on the screen the poem will be reflected, so you can follow it on the screen as well. I would love for you to interact with me over this 5 weeks and asking questions. You can ask your questions via my YouTube channel directly and posting a question, or you can send any form of input. You can also send via email to my email address, which is leonitakutz@gmail.com. I would like to point out to you, though, that at the time that I wrote this poem, I was at my lowest point. And that is when I actually realized that, I need to change my mindset. I need to focus on the positive things in my life and the things that I should be grateful for, because we all have so many things that we should be grateful for. And so I will be reading the introduction to you first and share the introduction, and then the poem will follow. So this is the introduction to The Ghost Called Depression. We shy away from it and feel embarrassed talking about this disease. Yet many people suffer and are fighting a daily battle against depression, trying to overcome, trying to hold on. If you don't have a support system or a coping mechanism, this battle may eventually be in vain. It will never go away completely, but there are ways to make it easier, apart from using medication. Firstly, we need to learn to talk about it, get it out there, and realize that we need to reach out. Don't be embarrassed about it. Secondly, we should stop putting so much pressure on ourselves. Accept who we are, unique and special in our own right. Stop comparing ourselves to others. And thirdly, no matter how difficult it may be, we should find a way to heal. It's not easy, I know. One day you're up, and one day you are down. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Just always remember, you are not alone. You are loved. You are special. No matter what that monster may be telling you. After listening to this, I'm kind of getting emotional, just going back to where I was at that time. And I think after listening to this introduction, you can already see where I was. It was important for me to change my mindset at that point in my life. So I'll share the poem with you now. The Ghost Called Depression. When darkness comes and finds me here, alone and helpless, filled with fear, not knowing what to do or say, if I should scream or simply pray. It feels I'm drowning in this pain. I'm trying hard to just stay sane. I need someone to grab my hand, to tell me that they understand, to hold me close and lead the way, confirm that it will be okay. Assure me that I'll be just fine, that I'll survive this trying time. Don't let me fall. Please keep me whole. This darkness will consume my soul. If I can get a breath of air, a ray of light, some sign of care, then maybe it will give me hope, a will to try, a will to cope. It's really hard to find a way when you don't trust what people say, 'cause in your mind you're all alone and you believe all hope is gone. I need a lot of love and care, and knowing that you're always there. When you're listening to the poem and you listen to the words, you can realize that I was at a very dark space. That was how I was feeling most of the time. It was very frustrating because it's something that is just there. Sometimes you wake up like that and you just feel surrounded by this darkness, and you don't know how to kind of get out of it. So it's important that for you to get out of it, you need to start thinking positive, focus on positive. And firstly, I think to make peace with ourselves. It all starts with self-love and acceptance of yourself. And then the journey towards healing can begin. So yes, thank you so much for joining me one more time. We've come to the end of tonight's episode. Next week, we're going to be covering another emotional poem, or I should rather say another emotion in the form of a poem. Please, I'm just reminding you, ask me questions. I would love for you to interact with me, and I would really appreciate it if you will subscribe, like, and share. Also remember that my poetry collection is still on special at 80 Rand a copy. And so, yeah, I'll see you next week. Remember to always be kind. Love you. Bye.